You're listening to Turi Writer's She Said What podcast. I'm Turi, along with Marcy Persky. In this installment, there are some things you should not be allowed to rent. There are many things you can learn from your pets. And there are things that some people will learn when they receive a poison pen letter.
I think that the earlier we are able to do this, at least for a while, the better signal we're going to get, because it's spring break and every single Airbnb is full of people online, except during the day when they're out at the canyon.
Oh, see, this is interesting. These are healthier spring break people, because I would have imagined if you had spring break people, the way that I consider spring break people, you would only have a signal during the day, because during the day they're sleeping, and at night they're all out texting each other their pictures and Instagramming themselves at bars. So
yeah, see, no, this is family spring break.
Oh,
these are these big, slow RVs, or the ones that they rent that they don't know how to drive, or the ones that go 30 miles an hour in a 70-mile-an-hour speed limit because they're trying to save on gas. So we're trading one for the other.
It's amazing the stuff that they'll let people rent.
Yep. It sure is.
You can rent things that scare the bejeepers out of me. Like, you can rent basically an RV the size of a commercial bus, and nobody cares. It's like, here's your driver's license, do you want our insurance, your insurance?
No lessons, no nothing.
I was astonished they let me rent a U-Haul truck. I'm like, what do I know about? And that's how I ended up, and I do mention this in the book, smashing into my own car with my own rental truck. It's not
the first time I ever drove a U-Haul truck, I had 100 cats in the back of it. So talk about a tense situation.
I remember
the person who was supposed to drive got sick.
I remember that. And then
I'll never forget.
Never forget. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff they shouldn't let you rent that they let you rent.
Yeah, so it's about a front end loader.
Can you rent one of those?
That would be kind of fun to rent and like take someone's house down. Now it has to be somebody that I really intensely dislike, and you just kind of start it and jump out. Make sure you have a mattress nearby so you can jump out and hit the mattress.
Oh boy.
And not any rocks.
Yeah, this is
and take your house down.
Way too complicated. I want smaller things. Like, it's astonishing to me, for example, that at the Tool Lending Library you can rent all kinds of electronic powered cutting tools that can remove your limbs.
Oh, see, I have a whole workshop full of those.
Well, you do, and you have a husband who knows how to use them, but you don't want to rent a big chainsaw to me. And this is one of those things where you hear people talk all the time about the nanny state, and I don't need a nanny state, but it makes me nervous that any yahoo can just rent a giant chainsaw. They should at least ask for your health insurance card. I mean, they ask for your car insurance card when you rent a car. And even professionals, like, for example, we are hiring somebody in California to redo the electrical panels on our 120-something-year-old house. And when I first called him, he was highly recommended, and I asked him, was he free? And he said, well, he was out from work for several weeks because he'd had an accident with a chainsaw. And I thought, well, if you can have an accident with a chainsaw, but now...
I think we've talked about this before, but my husband tends to have accidents as well, which is why he always has super glue on him.
Right, but
he is literally super glued together.
I don't think that this kind of accident would work, although it's kind of amazing the stuff on your body now that they just tape back together. Like, there's this Steri-Strip stuff that instead of stitching up your face when your kid, or the kid's face when the kid runs into something on a skateboard, they basically scotch tape your kid back together. It's amazing.
Yep. Well, Frankie has his toe finger that he loves to show off to
I
everybody.
don't want to think
And
about
that was
this.
from the wood splitter,
Oh, I don't want to hear about
which,
this. I'm going to have to
no,
edit it. I'm going
no,
to
no,
puke
wait, it's
right
not what you
here.
think.
No, going to puke.
His finger did not go into the wood splitter. His finger got caught between the
Okay,
back of his
okay. I
truck
can't. No,
and
no, no,
and the
no,
connection.
no. You want me to throw up and be done with this session? I cannot take it.
Well, yeah, I spent hours throwing up.
Ah,
Molly got him to the hospital
I see.
with
Why do you have to even say it? Why? What is the goal here? What did I ever do to you?
I was just laughing at you.
uh, yeah, I tried to put my fingers in my ears and go la 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 la, but no, you
Yeah,
wouldn't have it. You want me sick.
it's okay. Came home today and found half a mouse on my front deck. That's when I go la 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 la.
Yeah.
Now I have to find something to
Do it the
other
other
cat.
half.
Find the other cat and say, here's your out.
We have a foster dog here, and it's a real lesson in how much our dogs are like us over time. This new foster dog is very sweet. He's really smart. He wants to learn. He knows absolutely nothing. I'm not sure he'd even been inside a house before. Our dog is so jealous that if you go to pet this dog 3 rooms away from her where she's casually sleeping, she'll get up and go 3 rooms away just so she can bark at this dog for getting affection that she couldn't possibly have been getting anyhow.
At least she's just barking, not attacking.
No, she's just obnoxiously barking. But then what I thought to myself was, well, is this like me? Because in a weird way, if someone's getting attention that I could be getting, even though I'm perfectly happy doing whatever it is I'm doing, I'll get up and go over there so I can get some of the attention, even if I was perfectly content with whatever I was doing before.
And see, I'm the opposite. I'm just happy to be left alone.
Well, depends what kind of attention, I
I'll
suppose.
throw a blanket over my head so I can't be seen. So here, you guys go share all the attention far away.
I don't like this dog, my dog, teaching me things about myself that I'd rather not admit to. Like there's
All my dogs have taught me things about myself.
that you'd rather not admit to?
Now I admit to everything.
Oh, pretty good.
At this point in my life, I admit to everything. Some of it I'm even proud of. But
Except for those deep, dark secrets that you just don't acknowledge at all,
right, exactly.
which I'll never tell the ones I know, but there's some that I
Thank
don't even
you.
know, and that's really saying something.
Yep.
That's really, yeah, if I don't know it, it's like,
What do they say? Still waters run deep or something like that. I still don't know what that means, but
It's exactly
yeah.
what that means. That means you're
Still
supposed to
waters.
believe that people who are quiet and not showing you much, they're thinking deep thoughts. And can I tell you, as someone who used to date, that this is bunkum. Sometimes people are just saying nothing because they're boring and dull. They got nothing to say.
They had nothing up there.
Yeah, I used to assume that it meant that they had something important, deep, thoughtful, erudite, intellectual, brilliant to say. But over time, I came to understand that sometimes they were just saying nothing because they were thinking nothing.
Well, maybe they were thinking bad thoughts and they were taught if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it.
Do you know anyone who can actually live with that edict? Because I don't know anybody really who can actually. We all say that, and then we go, well, I really shouldn't say this, but,
But
then we say it. Yeah.
maybe one of my cats, maybe my cat Derp, since we're learning from animals, Derp will do everything behind your back. In front of your back, he won't do anything bad.
Yeah, I would be disappointed to see that I was like Derp. I like to do bad things right in front of people's faces so they know it was me. Oh, speaking of which,
Yeah.
I am going to do something anonymously.
Uh-oh.
Do you remember the evil Spanish teacher?
Yes.
Well,
You think her
apparently,
deported?
no, 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 no. Although, no, she's working here legally. Her kid is American. Her husband's American.
Sounds like you investigated it already.
Well, I met her husband. And again, this was one of those still waters run deep scenarios.
Yeah.
You didn't say anything. We were supposed to have a class outing, and so we had a class outing to a museum. And I would rather talk to a bad painting on a wall than that guy. But he lives with her, so what are you going to do? Anyway, I finally thought about it, and I don't want to fill out a review of her performance online because that's not really anonymous. But apparently I can just write a letter, like just write it. So I'm carefully constructing a letter about Senora to really make clear what a horrific teacher she is. And in the end, I encourage the administration to do a little data analysis and figure out how many people started in her class and how many people were still in her class a year later, and figure it out from there. Because the attrition rate cannot be explained by, in my opinion, just normal, like I found something better to do. To go from a class of 60, two classes in groups of 30, to 1 year later an enrollment of 6. I think that there's something.
Holy moly.
Yeah, right. So
they don't notice that
apparently
on their own?
I don't know why they did not notice that on their own, but I am planning to point it out. So I'm having a really great time writing this letter.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't give away too much of it or it will no longer be anonymous.
It's true, but I'm having fun. I'm what I do. Just like my rules in my friend's broadcasting book, I'm changing the names of everything so nobody can figure out that it's me. Because in real life, I submitted a sentence that said she wants a cat and a dog, and the senora wrote back that she couldn't possibly want a cat and a dog. She could only want a cat or a dog. And so I've changed that. I said he wants a boat and a car. So that way they'll never figure out it was me. And
I want a boat and a car.
Yeah, I was exactly. And I was kind of
They all want a
snarky
boat
about
and
it.
a car. Senora
May not believe that anybody wants a boat and a car, but I know plenty of people who do. So
I'm waiting to hear the outcome. How now you're going to anonymously find out the outcome?
Well, I'm going to send it anonymously, so the sending part is taken care of.
I still want to know how you're going to learn the outcome of your anonymous letter if you're anonymous.
Here's the thing. When you're annoyed
you're
enough...
put a return address on it.
Yes, this is anonymous. Please reply to at my house. I do have a P.O. box. I could ask them to reply that way. No, I just want to know that I've done it, I think. I don't care anymore what happens. But honestly, for one professor to be teaching for an entire community college system, one...
Yeah, that's crazy.
You can't get around her. She's like, what's that stuff you spray on your furniture that supposedly repels animals from
Scotchgard and that kind of stuff?
No, it repels animals. Like you can't smell it. They can smell it. They don't. Like hot pepper spray, supposedly to deter deer from eating in your garden. It doesn't
sour
work.
apple.
Yeah, there you go. I want this letter to be like sour apple. It just repels Senora. I don't care if it really works or not. I just want to spray it on there with the idea that it'll work.
Well, do a P.S. Please let Senora sniff this letter.
Yeah, that'll work perfectly. Thanks for listening to the Turi Writers She Said What podcast. Since you've made it to the end, you might want to know that my book, She Said What? A Life on the Air, is not only available in print, but now also in complete audiobook form, narrated by me and available on Audible.